Have you ever sat across from someone you love? Maybe it's your mom, your dad, your grandfather, watching them pour their third cup of coffee, or skip their medication again with a casual, "I'll take it later," and you didn't think much of it? Maybe you've seen them spending more and more time sitting in that same recliner by the window. Less walking, more resting. You tell yourself, they're just tired. They're getting older. That's normal, right? But deep down, something nags at you. You know what I mean, don't you? That quiet worry you brush off because, well, what could a few simple habits really do? Let me tell you something. Those simple habits, the ones that look harmless, even comforting, some of them are slowly, silently hurting their heart. Not in dramatic, obvious ways. No chascuting moments, no sirens. Just slow, quiet damage. And by the time it shows up, sometimes it's already too late. And that's what hurts the most, knowing it could have been prevented. Our elders, your parents, your partner, maybe even you, deserve to live these years in peace, not fear, with strength in their chest and warmth in their days. But if we don't pay attention to these hidden habits, we risk trading years of life for a few minutes of convenience. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 6 common habits that are secretly damaging the heart health of seniors. I'm begging you, don't ignore this, because once you see what's happening, you can actually do something about it. You'll learn how to spot the signs, how to break the cycle, and most importantly, how to help someone you love live longer and live better. But I need you to stay with me till the end. This isn't just a checklist. It's a conversation that could change everything. If you're ready to fight for someone's heart today, drop a comment right now. Just type, "I'm here." Let's do this together. And don't forget to hit subscribe, because here at Elderly Care, we don't just talk about aging. We protect the people living through it. So let's talk about the first habit. Picture this. It's mid-morning, the sun's coming in through the window, and your dad, who used to wake up early and take walks, is now planted in his recliner, remote in hand, channel surfing. He's not in pain. He's not complaining. He's just there, sitting, all morning, then into the afternoon. And before you know it, the whole day has gone by. You tell yourself, well, he deserves to rest. He's earned it. He's just taking it easy. But here's what most people don't realize. Resting too much isn't resting at all. It's shrinking. See, when seniors sit for long periods, especially day after day, their blood flow slows down. Their muscles weaken, including the ones that support the heart. The heart has to work harder to pump blood through stiff, inactive veins. Over time, that strain builds up, silent but steady, and the damage doesn't just stay in the heart. It seeps into everything. Mobility, digestion, energy, even mood. What looks like harmless lounging. It's often the early root of decline. The biggest mistake families make is thinking that stillness equals healing. But healing needs movement, even gentle movement. What seniors don't need is pressure to run marathons or do intense exercise. They just need motion. Consistent, low-effort, heart-friendly motion. So what can you do? Next time you're with your loved one, suggest a small change. A 5-minute stroll around the house after breakfast. Standing up and stretching during commercial breaks. A quick dance to their favorite song from the 60s. Even seated leg lifts while watching TV can get the blood flowing. It's not about turning their life upside down. It's about nudging the body back into rhythm, bit by bit, breath by breath. Because the truth is, a still body becomes a stuck body. And a stuck body puts pressure on the one organ we can't afford to lose, the heart. And sitting too long? It's only one part of the puzzle. Because what they eat, especially the things we call easy, can be just as dangerous. Let's talk about what's on the plate. You ever open your loved one's pantry and see rows of canned soup, boxed meals, frozen dinners lined up neatly? You might think, well, it's convenient. It's quick. It's better than skipping meals, right? And maybe you've watched them heat up that same microwave tray of lasagna or pop open a can of chicken noodle and call it dinner. It draws water into the bloodstream, raising blood pressure like air being pumped into a balloon. Over time, that constant pressure stretches and wears down the arteries. The heart? It has to beat harder and harder just to keep up. This isn't just about bloating or water retention. We're talking about a real, measurable increase in heart attack risk, stroke risk, kidney damage. It's like pouring gasoline on a slow-burning fire and calling it a warm meal. Now here's the trap. Marketing. People see low-fat, reduced-calorie, or even made with whole grains on a box, and they trust it. But sodium doesn't wear a warning label. It hides in those comforting, familiar flavors. That's why so many seniors eat it without knowing what it's doing to them. But you can make a difference. Start simple. If they love soup, make a batch from scratch. Control the salt. Freeze small portions so they're just as easy to heat. Replace boxed meals with real food. A sweet potato, some steamed veggies, a piece of grilled fish. It doesn't have to be fancy, just fresh. Every swap is a step toward protecting the heart. And remember, habits like this don't change overnight. But with gentle encouragement and a few thoughtful changes, you can turn meals from quiet threats into daily medicine. But food isn't the only silent saboteur. What about those little pills, the ones they forget or choose to skip altogether? Now here's one that happens quietly behind closed doors. No drama, no fuss, just a quiet decision that could change everything. You walk into your aunt's kitchen, and there it is, the little orange pill bottle sitting untouched beside her teacup. You ask gently, "Did you take your meds today?" And she smiles, waves you off, says, "Oh honey, I feel fine. I don't need those today." She's not being careless. She's not trying to hurt herself. In her mind, she's listening to her body. She feels okay, so she skips it, just for today. But that one skipped pill, it's not harmless. See, heart medications aren't like painkillers or cough syrup. You don't take them because you feel bad. You take them so you don't start to feel bad. These meds, whether they're for blood pressure, cholesterol, rhythm, or thinning the blood, they're designed to keep the heart on track. Like guardrails on a winding road. Miss a dose, and suddenly there's wobble in the system. Miss a few, and the body starts drifting. You may not see it right away. That's the trap. The decline is slow, like a shadow creeping across the floor. But when it catches up, it's fast and sometimes irreversible. And yet, so many seniors skip pills simply because they don't feel the immediate effect, or they don't like the side effects, or they just forget. And families often don't notice until a crisis happens. A fainting spell, a hospitalization, a diagnosis that starts with, "Well, it looks like you've been off your meds." So how do we help? It starts with routine, structure, simplicity, daily pill organizers, morning and night. Set reminders on their phone, or better yet, yours. Check in gently, not with scolding, but with care. "Hey, did you take your heart meds today? Need a refill? Want me to help you set it up for the week?" Sometimes it's not even about memory. It's about motivation. When someone feels isolated or hopeless, they don't see the point. That's why your voice, your presence, can be a lifeline. Because every pill they do take is one more beat, one more breath, one more moment with the people they love. But let me tell you something. Sometimes the most dangerous damage doesn't come from what they skip. It comes from what they hide. You ever ask your grandma how she's doing and hear that familiar answer? "I'm fine, sweetheart. Don't you worry about me." But then you look a little closer. Her smile is soft, but her eyes, they're tired. Her words are calm, but her hands fidget. You feel it, even if she won't say it. Something's weighing on her. That's the thing with our elders. They come from a generation that was taught to keep things in, not to complain, to be strong, quiet, resilient. But behind that silence, stress brews, and loneliness, it lingers like fog. And here's where it becomes dangerous, not emotionally, but physically. When a person bottles up their stress, their body doesn't stay silent. It responds. Stress hormones like cortisol flood the system. And when that happens every day, over weeks, months, years, it wears the body down. Literally, cortisol can harden arteries, raise blood pressure, weaken the immune system. It keeps the heart in a constant state of alert, pounding harder than it should, resting less than it needs. The body is meant to handle stress in short bursts, not as a lifestyle. But too many older adults live that way, quietly, alone, long hours with no one to talk to, no one to laugh with, no one to listen. And we misread it. We say, "She's just gotten quiet," or "He's not as social anymore." We assume it's just old age. But it's not always aging. It's often silent suffering. So what can you do? The answer isn't big or dramatic. It's consistent. Call them, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Sit with them, even if they say they don't need company. Ask how they really are, and wait for the second answer, the real one. Don't just talk, listen. Listen with patience, not to fix, but to hear. Encourage small connections, a church group, a walk with a neighbor, even a Zoom call with a grandchild. You'd be surprised what one genuine conversation can do to lighten a heart. Because when the heart feels unseen, it suffers. But when someone feels known, heard, and valued, it heals. But what if the very thing they're doing to feel alert, to feel young again, is the thing quietly speeding up their decline? Now let's talk about a habit that feels harmless, even helpful. Grandpa pours his second, third, maybe even fourth cup of coffee by noon. He chuckles and says it keeps him sharp. Give him a little boost. You nod, maybe even hand him a mug. After all, what's a little coffee, right? It's comforting, it's warm, it's part of the routine. But here's what we often miss. For older adults, the body doesn't process caffeine the way it used to. That same cup that used to give them a gentle lift now lingers in the bloodstream longer, hits harder, and stays with them into the evening. And it's not just coffee. Some grab energy drinks, thinking it'll keep them young, help them stay awake, stay involved, stay present. But these drinks, they're packed with stimulants, often way beyond what the heart can safely handle. Caffeine isn't just a harmless pick-me-up. In excess, it becomes a strain. It raises blood pressure, speeds up the heartbeat, keeps the nervous system on edge. And when sleep suffers, which it always does with too much caffeine, the body doesn't get the recovery it needs. The heart doesn't get rest. It's like keeping an engine running full throttle overnight. But the myth is strong. More caffeine, more energy. When in truth, more caffeine often leads to more fatigue in the long run and more risk. So how can we guide them towards safer habits? Gently encourage limits. A single cup of coffee in the morning, fine. But after that, steer them toward water or herbal teas. Something calming, something that supports the body rather than overstimulates it. Even small changes like switching from drip coffee to half CAF can ease the strain. They don't have to give it up completely. Just dial it back. Find that balance between enjoyment and protection. And finally, there's one habit that hides in plain sight. Not what they're doing, but what they're no longer doing, and what it could be telling us. Lastly, ignoring subtle physical changes. She used to take a walk every evening, didn't she? Just one loop around the block, nothing intense. Then one day she says, "Oh, I'll skip it tonight." No big deal. A few days later, you notice she avoids the stairs, asks you to carry the groceries, sits down more often. You chalk it up to age. Slowing down. That's normal, right? But here's the truth. Sometimes what we call just getting older is actually the heart waving a white flag. When the heart starts to weaken, it shows up in the quietest ways. A little shortness of breath after tying their shoes. Swelling in the ankles that wasn't there last week. Feeling wiped out by mid-morning, even after a full night's sleep. These aren't just signs of aging. They could be early warnings of heart failure, reduced circulation, or dangerous arrhythmias. But because the signs are so gentle, so gradual, they slip past us. And worse, many seniors hide them, not wanting to seem like a burden, not wanting to worry anyone. And we let it slide because no one wants to believe that something serious could be happening. But listen closely, because the body always whispers before it screams. So what can you do? Observe, ask, write things down. If they used to climb stairs easily and now they hesitate, take note. If they nap more often, complain of fatigue, or seem a little off, bring it up. Not in fear, in love. Talk to their doctor early. Don't wait for the big symptom. Don't wait for the emergency room. Early detection saves lives. Period. Because the smallest signs often point to the biggest truths. And yes, it's painful to see these shifts, but there's a deeper strength in noticing them because now you can do something about it. It's a hard thing, isn't it? To sit with the realization that someone you love has been slowly slipping, not because of a big, scary diagnosis, but because of a handful of small things no one thought to question. It's heartbreaking to look back and think, I should have noticed that. I wish I had known sooner. To wonder if that extra nap, that skipped pill, that quiet sigh was actually a signal. And maybe it was. But let me tell you something. You're not too late. You're here now. And that means everything. Because now you know, you're not in the dark anymore. these habits, sitting too long, eating processed foods, skipping meds, holding in stress, overusing caffeine, brushing off little changes. None of them are invisible now. You see them, you understand them, and that gives you power. Not the kind of power that controls or forces, the kind that gently steers, that watches, that steps in with a soft hand and a warm voice. You are the difference between decline and dignity. You are the difference between worry and wisdom. So here's my ask. Pick just one of the habits we talked about today, one that feels closest to home. Bring it up, not like a lecture, like a lifeline. Maybe it's saying, hey, want to take a walk with me today? Or let's try making soup together, something low salt. Or simply, I notice you've been a little more tired lately. How are you feeling really? Start there. One habit, one heart, one moment. Because the most powerful thing you can offer your loved one isn't medical expertise. It's attention. It's consistency. It's love applied in action. And listen, you don't have to be perfect. No one expects that. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to fix everything overnight. Just be informed. Be present. Be willing to act. Not out of fear, but out of care. That's what changes lives. That's what gives those golden years their shine. And that's what makes you someone's everyday miracle. So let's bring it all together. The 6 habits we've unpacked today, they may look small on the surface, but for the heart, they carry a heavy weight. Prolonged sitting, quietly weakening the body day after day. Processed food, filling the belly while slowly stressing the arteries. Skipping medications, not because they mean to, but because they feel fine. Emotional isolation, wearing down the heart in ways we can't always see. Caffeine overuse, fighting fatigue, but feeding pressure and imbalance. And ignoring subtle symptoms, trusting that it's just aging when it could be a warning. These are the little things we walk past, overlook, explain away. But now you know better. And with that knowing comes the gift of action. So tell me, have you seen any of these habits in someone close to you? Or maybe, just maybe in yourself? Share it with me in the comments. Don't hold back. I read every single one, and your story might be the one that helps someone else feel less alone. Someone might read your words and realize, that's exactly what's been happening to my dad. This isn't just a video, it's a conversation. It's a community, and I want you to be part of it. If you felt even a spark of recognition or hope while watching this, consider subscribing to Elderly Care. Every week, we're right here with you, sharing insight, compassion, and practical support. No fluff, just real talk, real care. You're not alone in this. And if you've made it to this point in the video, thank you for your time, for your heart, for your willingness to show up for someone who needs you more than they may ever say. Stay informed, stay kind, and I'll see you in the next one.